welcome back till Racing 1919. You're very all welcome. You're all very welcome, even. Start out with decent English. Um, I've seen a few things yesterday. I wanted to look at them before I commented on them, and that's why I'm on today. I didn't want to go on yesterday because it's all slow moving. However, I want to thank everybody for liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel and to any videos I put up, any shorts I put up. Everybody's very welcome here. As I say, different opinions, different views, where I'm more than happy to discuss it with anybody. I think the vast majority of us are sort of on the same page now. Um, we're going to be looking at Leeds and obviously with the situation around Daniel Farke today and his 1 point per game thing. Pardon me. And obviously there's a few bits and pieces of reports about Farke. We'll start with that. So, the 1 point per game. He's made a rod for his own back. The 49ers have literally taken his points average that he continues to use in the media, continues to reinforce and push down the throats of the fan base, and it's almost like if he keeps saying it, it's going to come through. If he keeps saying it, it's going to come true. And he keeps doing it, and it's so tedious, especially when you see the games that are coming up. And we've been over those games till a degree. We'll just say they're hard. They are bloody hard. But I've a few things and a few stats that are going to be even more concerning for us as fans, yeah, but also for Farke. The thing that the 49ers, obviously, I want to touch this on before going into that, the 49ers. I said over the last few days, we are not going to get anything out of the club unless the club wants it to come out. We are not going to get anything out of local journals. Graham Smith, Burn Cross, we're not going to get anything from them. Lo and behold, what do we get? Two sources come from the club. They don't go to Burn Cross. They don't go to Graham Smith or other journals. They don't go to YouTubers. They don't go to anybody like that. They go to Mike Keegan, Daily Mail. The same Mike Keegan that has been there at almost every presser or big launch or any big do that the 49ers has. He seems to be the man to go to for the 49ers. He's the guy that we need to keep an eye on as a journal because he seems to be their man. He has come out and he has said, and we all know, that the 49ers, prior to the Nottingham Forest game, had given Farke 5 games to continue on the 1 point per game average. They are using his stat and his continued rhetoric to the fans against him. In my cynical mind, I'm thinking very straightforward here. What I'm thinking is this. The 49ers are already set on getting rid of Daniel Farke. They are teeing up who is next. So the video that we did yesterday, with we only touched on a few of the managers that may be linked, but the video we did yesterday may be more apt than ever, because I think now the 49ers will be, obviously they want us to do well, they don't want us to lose because it's their investment, but they also have to be real. And I think they've given Daniel Farke, and they know it, they've given him a noose. If Daniel Farke does not win 5 games, including the Forest game, or if he doesn't get 5 points out of those 5 games, if they are men of their word, he's toast. We get beat by Forest, so we've got a 0 points per game against Forest. We've now got 4 games. Daniel Farke has to get 5 points in 4 games. We've Villa, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. He has to get 5 points out of that somehow to keep his job. I can't see where he's getting 5 points out of that. And I'm going to tell you why. Daniel Farke has... Against Liverpool in his career, he has managed 4 games. He has lost all 4. Against Man City, he's managed 3 games. He's got 1 draw and 2 losses. Against Chelsea, he's managed 6 games and he's got 6 losses, 1 draw. Against Villa, 3 wins and 3 losses. However, there's a caveat to the Villa one. The games against Villa, some of them were in the Championship for Norwich. It doesn't look well. It does not look good. I think the writing's on the wall. We all know it's on the wall. It's just a matter of, and I actually personally don't think he's going to get to the Liverpool game. I don't think they can afford to let him get to the Liverpool game. I don't, to be honest with you, they probably don't want somebody come in that run of games, those 4, and be straight away under pressure. So they may turn around and give it to Daniel Farke. Try to keep it tight. Try and get something out of some games, but we're not getting 5 points out of these. Not with Daniel Farke in charge. And the situation is dire if you're him. You're getting sacked. Pack up. Get ready to head back to Germany. Or Norwich are looking a manager. Get ready to head back to Carrow Road. Because you're just not at this level, Daniel. Another concerning stat. And I'm not going to go stat heavy here. I don't want to. That's not my channel. I use a wee bit of stats. I like a wee bit of vibes. I like having a bit of a debate and a row and commenting on different people that come into the comments and doing all that. That's great. I love that interaction. We have played, and I saw this on X, and then I looked it up, and it's true, to be fair. We have played teams in the 20th, 19th, 18th, 17th. We are 16th. We have played 15th. We have played 14th. We have played 13th. We have played 11th and 9th placed teams in the league. Statistically, we've played 90% of the worst teams in the league to this point. We are yet to play 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 10th. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top 10 to play. And Daniel Farke is currently on 1 point a game. Currently. The stats don't lie, Daniel. The stats just don't lie. I weighed this up. I wanted to know. I was trying to figure out whether to go with having an in-depth look at the next 4 teams against us. And I sort of thought, to be honest with you, I've looked at different ways of giving my opinion on things. I've looked at stat-heavy things, and I think people turn off at that. We can give stats, yes, but we all know. I don't need to go through. Like, I've stats here in Villa under Emery. We know our next game's at Villa. We know Villa play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. They're going to be high press. They average 13 shots a game. They're up almost 20% increase in goals year on year. Defensively, they're strong. We can get at them from long ball, but we don't get anybody near our fucking centre forward. So if we don't get anybody near the centre forward, how do we get shots? How do we score? If you start Brendan Aronson after him coming back from the US instead of Don James, which he probably will do because Brendan Aronson's his fucking love child, if he does that, then he is literally digging his own grave. I just don't get the man. You know, Villa are 6th in the league. They've 18 points. We're, 16th in the league with 11. It's not a huge points difference. But there's a massive difference in quality. We have a minus 10 or 11 goal difference? Whatever it is. I don't really care at this stage. I think it's 10. Minus 10 goal difference. And Villa are in a good place. They started wobbly. They started wobbly and they're now firing. And we have to, the pressure that he was under prior to Forest is nothing compared to the pressure the man's under now. He is going into the biggest pressure probably of his career to date. Going into Leeds versus Villa, Leeds versus Chelsea, Leeds versus City, Leeds versus Liverpool. 4 games. You can hardly get any worse fixtures than that. I just don't see how he succeeds. And we all, we want to succeed as Leeds fans, but we can't succeed with Farke. I want to beat Villa, but I can't see us doing it with Farke. I just can't see it. I don't get how if we can't beat Forest, if we can't beat Burnley, how can we beat Villa, who are in Europe, who are flying in the league, riddled with international players? That's probably the only thing that might help us. It's quick after the international break. It is quite quick. It's 2-3 days probably turnaround. And that might benefit us because we have less internationals than Villa. So they may be a wee bit tired. They have internationals from all around the world. So do we, obviously. But let's be honest. Dan James has to be... If Daniel Farke is serious about keeping his job, he has to start Dan James. He has to start Willie Gnonto. He has to start DCL. He has to start Okafor. He has to go for the win. This pragmatic approach, this boring football, 4-3-3, the players can take the blame. They're not track and runners. I call them out day and day and day after day after day. And that's fine. We can call the players out, and I will. But whenever your tactics are 4-3-3, your 3 midfielders, not one of them can turn. Not one of them can turn on the half turn, create a bit of space, put a through ball in. Not one of them have that ability. Not one. Stack is a 6. Ampadu's a 4. Longstaff's 6/8. That's about it. We don't have any flair moving forward. So that means DCL or Namacha through the centre has got absolutely no support. 0. So you're relying on the 2 wingers. I know Okafor likes to come in from the left. I know he does. What I would actually do in the next game against Villa, I would start Willie Gnonto on the left and I would put Okafor on the right. If you're going to play a 4-3-3, and tell them to invert. Tell them to get in and around DCL. Tell them to take shots. You don't score. We had 1 shot in the first half against Forest. And I know I keep saying it, but we had 1 shot in the first half against Forest. 1. That was a goal. Why are we afraid to shoot? No, Okafor, have a dig from 25 yards. Willie Gnonto, have a dig. That lad will have a dig. There's no doubt. But my concern is this. If reports are to be confirmed and to turn out to be true, if Willie Gnonto is fit, why was he left out? What I have heard, and I don't know if it's true, what I have heard was that DCL declared himself fit the day before the game and the day of the game on social media, etc., etc., which resulted in him going to the bench. Namacha came on, started the game. And then Daniel Farke made a decision to drop Willie Gnonto, a fully fit Willie Gnonto, from the squad, the matchday squad. If that's true, that is absolutely piss poor management. It is cowardly management. You need to be able to go and tell your 100 grand a week striker that scored 1 goal that you are he bears a lot of responsibility for a few missed chances, yeah. But you bear the responsibility in not creating the chances. But you have to say to that man, if you're not fully fit, you're not on the bench. You've got to be able to say to maybe a defender, you're not going to get on the bench today. There's players on our bench. Gruev, bit part player. Why have we got Gruev? We've got 3 midfielders on the pitch. We can change formation. Drop 1 midfielder out. You can go to 2. Why do we have a Gruev? You've got Tanaka as well. Why not drop one of those 2? It's obviously Gruev. He's 5th choice. Drop Gruev. Put another attacking option on the bench. It's not rocket science. It's too pragmatic. It's too slow. There's no chance creation. And what will we do? No, don't worry about it, Willie. Don't worry about it. And people can criticise Willie all they want. And I will criticise Willie. And I'll criticise Don James. Do I think they're top quality Premier League players? No. No. But they're very good players. They're a lot better going forward than Longstaff, Stack or Ampadu. They just are. And obviously they're different positions, but we obviously need them. If we're playing counter-attack football, they've got pace, they've power, they've low centre of gravity, they can get fouls, they can make fouls, they can cross a ball. They're not afraid to take a man on. The 2 men, Brendan Aronson gets the ball, runs into traffic, turns, pirouettes, dances on the ball. Hey, looking around him, doesn't have a clue where he's at. Brendan Aronson's brain doesn't know what his feet are doing. He doesn't beat a man. He doesn't get to the byline. He doesn't put a ball in. He can't. He doesn't have that ability. And Brendan Aronson, to his credit, to be fair, and I know criticised him today and every day, he's not a right winger. One of the things that has got to me about Daniel Farke, and this is the strength of these teams that we're coming up against. When he plays Brendan Aronson in 4-3-3, Brendan Aronson never, ever, ever stays out in the wing. Never. If you look across to the left wing, no Okafor does. And what happened in the last couple of games, we've ended up, no Okafor's ended up getting double teamed. So one of the midfielders comes out to Okafor and the fullback tends to come out to Okafor and ultimately he gets double teamed. So he needs that wee bit of support. But when he's up there, the only support he has is going to be the midfielders like a Stack, who isn't really that creative. But then, you look, and who's standing in front of Stack is generally bloody Brendan Aronson. So our right winger, our outball, our crossfield pass, is standing in the middle of the bloody pitch. Maybe 10 or 15 yards away, crowded by a load of opposition players because he's hiding. And what that does for us is this. It gives us zero output down the right. And I'll tell you why. One of our best attackers in our team is Jayden Bogle. And what happens with Bogle, and this is no fault of his, the winger doesn't track Aronson because they don't care. They block Bogle. So Bogle gets pressed. He gets pressed from the front by the strikers or the inside or outside left, whoever we're playing against, depending on their formation. He gets pressed there. And then the winger or fullback, who's meant to be watching Aronson, comes and presses him again. So Bogle can't advance up the pitch, which completely takes out our right hand side. Which means we have zero threat down that side, or very little. The vast majority of our threat comes down Gudmundsson and then Okafor, which in the last game absolutely baffled me as the way Farke took off the best left back in the bottom half of the table for a left winger in Jack Harrison, who ultimately gave away a penalty. And that just shows to me the ineptitude of his management. If we can see these things, and I can see it on the TV in Ireland, and people can see it in the stadium, if we can see these things, how on earth is Farke and his team and his analysts not able to pick these things up? He sees these people day in and day out in training. He's bound to see this. Brendan Aronson has got to be, he has to be being told to move into the centre. It'd be, you know what? I'd be happy enough with Arnson going into the centre if we played more direct at DCL or Nemecha and Arnson was in and around him. But the fact is, he's just in no man's land all the time. He's running around like a headless chicken, doing nothing. Realistically, he's getting his stats up, pass this ball back to the defender, pass this ball back to the defensive midfielder. The amount of times he loses the ball in the central area is crazy. Daniel Farke has got to be giving him that command. If you've got Dan James or Willie Notto out there, they're going to either hug the line or they're going to beat their man. If they come inside, Dan James comes on, what's the first thing he does? He cuts inside, swings his left foot at it. Sales has to make a save against Forrest. It's just basic management, and it's piss poor to this point. I'm going to touch on the four. I don't want to go into detail on the four teams that we're playing, but this is my point moving forward. We have got 4 games. He has to average over 1 point per game over the next 4 games because he's already underwater. He ain't going to do that. I think after these 4 games, Daniel Farke is... I don't think he gets to the 4 games. I'm hoping he doesn't. But I think he hands the reins to somebody and we're well under the 1 point per game average. The man's totally out of his depth. Like, one of the things I've said about Emery here in his Premier League record at Villa, as I said the other day, we spoke about Daniel Farke's management in the Premier League, and I think he's got a 15% win rate or something crazy like that there. Emery has got 58 wins, 24 draws, 29 losses. He's a 52.3% win rate. In the top flight, I'm just looking at it, I've noted it down. We have 15, Daniel Farke is just over 15% win rate. That, you know, that stat itself is scary. You know, when you're up against top class managers like that, when you're getting outclassed by Russell Martin, Scott Parker, you know, people like that, there's teams in the Championship that we couldn't beat. Blackburn Rovers, we couldn't beat Blackburn. They had a hoodoo over us. There were certain managers in the Championship that had a hoodoo over Farke, and it's not a hoodoo. It's because we are, and even in our 100-point season, we are very, very not easy to play against in 100 points. You can't be easy to play against there, but it's very monotonous. We know what to expect from Leeds. We know how they're going to play under Farke. And what happened with us, there was a lot of individual genius. A lot of individual genius. In the Championship, we had so many players that were beyond Championship level. And they are. Don James is better than Championship. DCL, he's better than Championship this season now, obviously. Nemecha is better than Championship. Stack, Okafor, Longstaff, all better than Championship. Perry, people can say about Perry, oh, he's kicking and all. Look, Perry is a top keeper. You look at the goals conceded, he conceded 5 against Arsenal, he conceded 3 against Brighton. Name me one goal, and that's 8 of his goals conceded. Name me one goal he can do anything about there. Now, Forrest, penalty is 1. Can't do anything about that. It's not his fault. The other 2 goals, what can he do? He actually, I do believe he has to do better for the well-back goal. Or not the well-back goal, the top end, the first, whenever he went down and he pushed it out with his hand. But the Morgan Gibbs White goal, that's not on him. You can blame Bijol and Rodon for not communicating properly, and you 100% can blame the central midfield. Again, I have looked back and I have lost count. Our midfield is at fault for more than 50% of our goals this season conceded. Our central midfield, 3 of our they are at fault for. They are 100% at fault for a minimum of 1 goal. Against Forest. They're at fault for all 3 against Brighton. That's already 20% of the goals we've conceded this season, and that's only 2 games. Now you go through every game and you can point to where our central midfield's let us down, and it doesn't matter which combination it is. They've all let us down in some way. They've all had absolute nightmares in some way. That's why it points to me thinking, or points to Daniel Farke's poor management. He doesn't know what he's doing in this league. He's been outsmarted, outclassed, outmaneuvered. Thank fuck he's going. Well, thankfully it's easier after Villa. You know what I mean? It's only Pep Guardiola that we have, and as I said earlier in the video, he's only managed 3 games against Guardiola, and he's got 1 draw and 2 losses. If people think that's all right, you might get a draw against City. Well, Pep Guardiola, the City are flying. They have a goal machine up front. We all know that. They've plus 15 or something, or minus 10. So there's a 25 goal swing just in the bloody goal difference alone. They're obviously, we know they're a massively strong possession team. They're going to outfight us, outclass us in the midfield. We have to be on 100% and hope they're on 70%. Guardiola, I'm going to say this stat again. Guardiola has a 71.5% win rate in the Premier League, and Daniel Farke has 15%ish. Now, I need to caveat that percent as well. 71% in over 300 games. That's what Guardiola has. Daniel Farke has 15%. 15% in 1 full season with Norwich. 11 games in the second season before getting sacked. And this will be we're on 11 games now. And he's sitting on 15. It's tough. We're not getting in and out of that. We roll into the Chelsea game. Enzo Maresca. We know Enzo Maresca from his time at Leicester City. Obviously took them up. Went to Chelsea. He's won the FIFA World Cup, Club Cup, and he's doing well. Let's be honest, they are absolutely flying under Maresca. There's a lot of injuries there. I'll be honest with you, if I'm going to target any game in these 3, it has to, realistically it's going to be Villa, but the Chelsea one, like, Farke's played them 6 times in his career, the club Chelsea, and he's lost 5, drawn 1. It's just not good. Like, you know, we're in a situation where it's like we have a manager with a 15% win rate going into play a manager with 70 odd. Maresca's got 52%. You know, then Arne Slot's the bloody champions from last year. They're not in great form, but let's be real. There's levels to the game. We are just, it's going to be with Farke in charge, men against boys. And my real concern is how he leaves the club for the next man. If we get decimated over the next 4 games, what's going to happen is the lads are going to be on their knees. So the next man coming in is going to be massively under pressure from minute 1, just to get them refocused for the games, the 4 games after that we hopefully can fight for, and we can probably try to get something out of. Because I'll tell you something, from the 1st of January on, it's fucking difficult again. 1st of January we have Liverpool. I think a couple of days later we have Newcastle, and then Liverpool January 3rd. Obviously we have Man U, and then we have Newcastle as well in a run. It doesn't get easier. It's the Premier League. This is the beauty of the Premier League. But this is where I think they've given him the chance of 1 point per game. If we get tanked against Villa and go into that City game and we get tanked, they get rid. We'd be safer getting some interim in before we get him on. But they have got, there's only 2, like, this is the thing. From the minute we play our next game against Villa, it's 2 weeks till we play the 4th, Liverpool. Surely the 49ers, surely they're not waiting. Surely they're not waiting. Surely they're in the market. Surely they've got contacts. Surely they're speaking to people. And if they are, why are they waiting? Why are they waiting? We went through so many people yesterday, 4 or 5 people yesterday, that are just levels above this man, that are all attainable. It's crazy that if they're going to wait until we are under 1 point per game, I'd be concerned about where our players are. I think Farke has lost a lot of these players anyway, to be fair. But we'll have to wait and see. I just hope we don't get hammered. I just hope we don't get hammered. And I know we've got the internationals coming up like tomorrow, but obviously my priority is Leeds. Our priority is all as a fan base is Leeds. And I'm sick of talking about Daniel Farke. I'm sick to the back teeth of it. I want to talk about good football. I want to be able to debate. You know, we played well in 4-3-3. Well, we played well in 4-2-3-1. We played well 3 at the back. You know, why not? Why not go? You know, instead we're debating of getting rid of our manager. And this, the only thing is this: the fact that they're using the stat that he continues to push down our fucking throats. The fact that they're doing that to him, and it's going to be his own stats that hang him. Poetry in motion. You know, there's some absolute clowns on social media, on X and stuff, like, and they're all like, oh, you know, I want to see Daniel Farke succeed, so we can see half all them clowns on social media, on YouTube and all, get egg in their face. Listen, I do not want that man to succeed. I don't want him to succeed. In a job. I want Leeds to succeed as a club. I just don't fancy Daniel Farke as a manager. It's not that I don't want him to succeed. Actually, he's not going to. He doesn't have the facilities, big man. I don't think he's anywhere near the level. So it's not that I don't want him to succeed. I want Leeds to succeed, but I want them gone. In what metric does anybody see Daniel Farke being a Premier League? Forget about Leeds. Name me one other club in the Premier League that would employ Daniel Farke. Name me one. Because I'll tell you what, look at the 2 clubs that have come up with us. Burnley's not fucking taking him. Scott Parker schooled him last season and this season. He's not going to Sunderland. They're doing bits. There's nobody else. I'll tell you what, Wolves aren't fucking taking him. There's another thing. Wolves are just after getting a new manager in. Wolves have a new manager. They bit the bullet. They done it quick. West Ham have done it. Nottingham Forest have done it twice. And with West Ham and Forest, their teams reacted. I am hoping and I am praying that Daniel Farke is not here for those 4 games. Because if he is, I don't see us getting a point. Not that we could put Pep in charge of our team right now, and I don't think we get a point anyway out of those. The Villa possibly, but I think tactically he's just nowhere near Unai Emery. Nowhere near. If we get a point out of those 4, it's going to be Villa because it's at home. But Chelsea, City, Liverpool. Listen, we just want to stay up. I just don't want. He's not going to do it for us. We can't spell it out any clearer. I seen a report earlier as well in the Yorkshire Evening Post. Breaking news. Leeds United star in Spain may end up having to come home early and cut his... Right, what they're talking about is Lorgi Ramazani leaving Valencia, coming back to Leeds in January. Why? It hasn't worked out. That's where the Yorkshire Evening Post is. That's the information they're getting. I could write that story because I'm looking at Lorgi Ramazani. I know he's only made 5 appearances. He's had one assist or 1 goal. It hasn't kicked. It was an assist actually. It hasn't clicked for him. He's injured. He's slightly injured, but he's not doing well. It just hasn't worked out. Yet at the same time, some people hang their hat on the likes of Graham Smith and all, saying Leeds have no plans to sack Daniel Farke. I'll be stunned. Then all of a sudden it breaks. Leeds are going to fucking sack Daniel Farke if he doesn't take a point per game out of these. Look, in the summer, Burn Cross had egg in his face. And just right now, I think, let's be honest, it's maybe less egg in his face, but it's definitely quite embarrassing to watch somebody of Graham Smith's ilk come out with a statement that he'd be stunned if Farke was sacked. And then all of a sudden, bang, today, well, yesterday, Mike Keegan, close to the club, comes out and says he was given 5 games, one's gone, 4 to go. One's gone, 4 to go. I hope he doesn't get the 4, because if he gets the 4, we're fucked. Listen, I don't know what this was meant to be today. Oh, sometimes you just need to get stuff out, you know. I could go mad. I could go mad. I could go into the internet. I was going to talk about the internationals and all, but I'm 36 minutes already, and you know what? I've subjected you to enough of my absolute rant. I don't know where I had a bit of a plan where I wanted to go with things, but it is what it is. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Yous are all. I'm absolutely buzzing that yous have all. I'm nearly at 900 people, 900 subs. I only started this I only started posting a couple of months back. And to me, you know, if I can get 1,000 subs, that's amazing. But I definitely want to engage with people who watch. So if anyone is interested in me getting a live going sometime, stick a thumbs up. Just stick a thumbs up in the comments, please. And if you wanted to come on to talk, well, maybe do it whenever I hit 1,000. Maybe if I can hit 1,000. Maybe do my first live. It'll be a mess because I'll not know what I'm doing, but maybe we can do something like that, and we can organise it that some of the guys, that some of you that watch this, then let's join in. That's what we're here for. We're all fans. We've all got an opinion. You don't have to stick if you're not comfortable in front of a camera, don't stick the camera on. If you want to stay off and you just want to comment and you want to watch, fine, 100%. That's your prerogative. But if you want to come on and give me your opinion, stick the thumbs up and the in the comments there, and we'll try and organise it. Because I'm telling you something now. It might be racial and all the rest. This is a fan channel, as in I'm a Leeds United fan, and I'm giving my opinion. But I do value other people's opinions, even if we disagree. Donny is on my comments quite regularly, and to be fair, I comment on his as well. But I will say, me and Donny are probably quite a long way apart in our thoughts about certain players, formations, tactics, even the manager at times. But at the end of the day, you can respect each other's opinion, even if you don't agree with it, and you can debate it. So listen, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for getting this far. 38.50 is way too long for this bullshit of a rant. And March, I will be back on if anything breaks. If Daniel Farke gets sacked, I'll definitely be back on. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please share. Do whatever you can do. I want to try to get 1,000 because I've got 3 kids and they all think it's nuts that I've even got 800 plus. Like, I'm almost at 900 people. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching Racial 1918. On. Marching on together.